There he is, ready to go. All right, so good morning. First of all, how are you doing, sir? You doing good?
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, feel good that it's Friday, and actually, I'm going to go to the watch party tonight. To actually write to write fan reaction on the Panthers. Whether they win or lose, if they win a Stanley Cup, they rejoice. If not, then a lot of nerves going down to a Game 7, and then also keeping my eye on everything Dolphins.
So the Sentinels got you covering over at the arena, huh? All right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually pumped up to go check it out. I know we talked about this last time. Like, I still have the youthful enthusiasm to cover things. I mean, it could be a historic moment in South Florida sports history.
Yeah, no, it's cool, bro.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course. And more power to you, dude. I mean, you should want to cover all that stuff. If I was your age and young in the biz, I wanted to cover everything that existed. You know what I'm saying? So, been there, done it. So I know exactly how you feel. It's just I no longer really clamor to have to be there anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
While
That's
I'm
just
still feeling it, I'll get out there. While I'm still, because one day I'm going to be like you.
oh, you will after
Yeah.
you've done it for 20 some years, 30 years. You're like, yo, bro, I've already done this many, many times, the craziness and all that kind of stuff. Somebody called me yesterday for some work with soccer with the cup, and I was like, nah, sorry, dude, I'm happy doing my thing. I appreciate it. So I'm happy where I'm at. I got no issues, bro. So it's a beautiful thing. All right, so you think they win tonight?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say yeah. I mean, I think they carried some momentum from the end of Game 5, similar to maybe how the Oilers had some momentum end of Game 3, even though they lost that one, and then it turned out in a big way for them with that 8-1 win, eventually going on a 13-1 scoring run overall before the Panthers started mounting their comeback. So yeah, home and road is not as big a deal in hockey. So I think they carry the momentum from the end of Game 5 into Game 6 and finish it off very far from South Florida.
All right. On the Dolphins front, you got to meet Calais Campbell this week. Your thoughts on Calais? Obviously, you know him from his Canes days when you were a youngin, and he was a Canes player, but all the way through now. Having him here, your thoughts after the press conference?
Yeah, actually, shortly after I got off the air with you last Tuesday, then we got to talk to him, and I think he's a guy that at this veteran stage in his career, he really prioritizes. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He got to a Super Bowl his rookie year with Arizona. That first year after playing at University of Miami. He hasn't been back in South Florida since, as far as playing here. So I think he's happy to be back. Actually, one of the last guys that played in the Orange Bowl, because his last college season was 2007, that last season at the Orange Bowl. So he goes to the Super Bowl 08 with the Cardinals. Hasn't been back since. Has been close. He was on the 2017 Jags that were a quarter away against those Patriots. Yeah, remember Saxonville, and he was part of that. So I think he sees an opportunity here.
Dude,
Huh?
that was a great defense that the
Yeah, and
Jackson
Jalen Ramsey was on it too, so he reunites with him.
they were
Yeah.
loaded.
So and he also reunites with Anthony Weaver. So he had him as D-line coach in Baltimore for a couple seasons. Now defensive coordinator here in Miami. He said he was a big reason why he wanted to come in here. And I think his versatility on the line, that he's able to line up anywhere, primarily 5 technique, lining up on the outside shoulder of the tackle is his best spot. But I mean, just the versatility that he presents and how Anthony Weaver is willing to move guys around, twists and stunts, and lining guys up in different spots with the rotation that we know is going to be there. That'll be a valuable piece to have him be able to team up with different pairings and be effective in different spots on the line.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and that's been a theme. Marcus May, he can back up both safeties,
Yeah.
and he'll be the third safety now. Weaver wants to run 3 safety defenses. You got your third safety in Marcus May, and you got the flexibility that he can play free or strong if he wants to. You know what I'm saying? So again, these are all these things that in Calais Campbell can play all along the defensive line. It's just one of those things. Jordan Brooks is a guy that can help you in the run, can drop back in coverage, can probably also spy a guy like Josh Allen. There's a lot of versatility in a lot of the things that they were doing and a lot of the players that they were adding to go along with the versatility of a Jalen Ramsey, the versatility of a Javon Holland. These things also will be exposed a lot more now under Weaver.
Yeah, definitely. He likes to just have guys that he could line up different spots that present versatility, and it allows him to be multiple. And I think Calais Campbell saw the value in that. He knows him. He knows the way he coaches, the way Anthony Weaver coaches, his coaching style, who he is as a man. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Hey, a homecoming for him. A team that has a chance to compete here, and maybe that's a spot. It's a spot where they needed help. They needed another D lineman because, yeah, you have a rotation, but you kind of were a little uneasy coming off of minicamp, just how it was all going to come together. So you add another piece like that. We were talking him up on this show several times before that signing happened. So really good to see, and a former Cane as well, and the veteran presence that he brings on a team that's already going to have a lot of it now. So a lot of leaders that can work together here.
All right, you were able to watch several mini camps now. Give me your assessment on some of the stuff that you saw. Let's start off with the rookies. Who stood out the most after now that you're you got the picture from above all the different practices? What did you get out of any of the rookies?
Yeah, I mean, Chop Robinson will have some of that versatility on the edge. He definitely has that raw ability, and then now we'll just have to see it come together. So you got to like him. Patrick Paul, I think, yeah, some of what we expected. Yeah, he's definitely got the measurables, the size, the agility. He can move around.
Hopefully he doesn't play at all this season,
which would be more than fine. Yeah, let him learn. Let's have a healthy season from Teron Armstead, and then Austin Jackson on the right tackle side. And then if someone goes down for a few games, Kendall Lamb comes in, and you don't get past that. And Patrick Paul hopefully has a tremendous season of learning, so that 2025 season, if Armstead decides to hang it up, if he calls it a career at that point, which he already was close to this season, then Patrick Paul is ready to step right in. So hopefully that's the case. And Jalen Wright, kind of very limited in what we were able to see from him. But, yeah, I mean, I think I do recall from that rookie minicamp.
Yeah, I was told speed was on display.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was told. The speed was on display. I was told he was the fastest player. Now, again, Tyreek and Waddle weren't really running, but I was told he was the fastest player clocked in camp.
Okay, clocked. Yeah. So yeah, you got some official measurements there to back it up. Okay. Yeah. The speed was unquestionable. So you certainly see that. Now, as far as now he'll just have to translate it onto the football field and learn the offense. That seemed to work just fine for Devon Achane last year, who, by the way, will get more involved in the pass game this year. I wrote about that. We already talked about it too. But so maybe there's some hints there in how they can marry all these running backs together into getting all of them to have high production levels.
Anything from Storm Duck?
Yes, I mean, didn't see him getting beat that much. Obviously, it's hard to keep an eye on everyone, but so I mean, it seemed to be solid. And I mean, the Dolphins have some trust in him with the guaranteed money they gave him. So certainly, at least you didn't see him. And I was saying that with Cam Smith early on, but then some of the later sessions, then you saw him on the wrong end, especially once he had to cover Waddle. Waddle showed up for minicamp. and then Waddle would go against Smith, and then he'd really humble him when they were going at it. And Waddle had one practice I remember where he was just off the charts. I think it was that first minicamp one, and then he spoke. It was right after he got the contract, so showing certainly he's not just becoming content after receiving his deal. He's going to keep going at it, and so a good learning lesson for Cam Smith when that happened.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, so what's going on with the contract? What are you hearing, Tua and the team?
Yeah, so nothing new from what we last spoke. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's on the verge. We've kept saying it. It's probably just a lot of the minutia in guarantees, fully guarantees, the bonuses, and then now I just wonder.
There's something there. There's something stopping them.
Yeah, of course. Right.
There has to be. I don't know what the hell it is, but there's something obviously delaying this whole thing. I just don't know exactly what it is that's delaying them. But clearly, either they're slow walking it and they're waiting for the Purdy deal to happen or the Jordan Love deal to happen so they can, have more to stand on or more to ask. I don't know. But it's just kind of odd. So that's why I ask that it just continues. So you wonder, okay, they've done all these moves. Like, are you close? Do you know where you're at? Because you've signed everybody else around him, except him now. And so, it's kind of weird.
And the Jaguars did them no favors with the $55 million. And I know that's kind of like with that, it's not all guaranteed. So when you put the guarantees in, it's not nearly that. But certainly that contract did the Dolphins no favors because then now a player who statistically has underperformed compared to Tua, now he's getting paid the $55 million, which was more than Jared Goff just got at 53. So now whatever they had in place as far as the average annual value, now Tua has and his representation have the right to say, okay, well, a little bit more now because Trevor Lawrence got 55, and I know none of us were expecting him to get that number, even though now the market is the market, as Tua has said. So that number will continue to rise. And so, from one perspective, the more you wait, the more it's going to go up. Because if you would have gotten it done before Trevor Lawrence got that deal, then okay, hey, that's the Jaguars doing that. Go ahead. We already got our guy. Like the Lions right now are probably happy that, okay, Jared Goff 53. You want to pay Trevor Lawrence 55? All right, yeah. Well, we're more than pleased with Jared Goff at 53. And if maybe the Dolphins would have gotten it done at 54, let's say, then before Trevor Lawrence got his, then they would have been fine and said, all right, go ahead. Yeah, Lawrence, you got that deal done after. But now Lawrence creates precedence as Tua and the Dolphins still haven't agreed finally to those terms.
Who has leverage here between the Dolphins and Tua?
It's a good question. It might be Tua, and now especially with that Trevor Lawrence deal, he's got the right to now ask for even more. Whereas before it was like, okay, you were thinking before this past season, you were thinking, okay, in the 40s. But then, and some quarterbacks made 50 plus. But then you thought, okay, if he has a full healthy season, which he did, and then he performs similar to year 3 in another year under Mike McDaniel's offense, then he can go into over that $50 million plateau. And then he did all of that. So that's why you heard all the rumblings before you heard about the salary cap number. And then once you did hear that the salary cap went up 13%, then it's pretty much – he's going to surpass that $50 million line. So then you get to that point, and then now you've just had more things piling up into his favor the longer this goes. And he has sort of his frustration that he's let out now in his favor as well. So he could use that piece where he handled himself actually really well in that press conference when sort of detailing that he likes that there is progress, but it's sort of still it's got him antsy that they still haven't gotten over the hump. And then if you're the Dolphins and you keep waiting and he has another season like that going into that 5th year, then you're going to be paying a lot more. So you want to get it done. Both sides want to get it done. And I think maybe now Tua has a lot of more of the cards in his favor based on the way things have transpired in recent months.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night because I was going to ask you about this, and I thought about it. They because of a lot of the stuff you said, I thought about, but then on the flip side, I said, well, the Dolphins can also have the leverage too because Tua has injury history on his side. He has to be concerned about that. He has to be concerned that he's playing on a fifth-year option. He has to be concerned that they control him easily for 3 years. And so you really have no leverage because you're forced to play on the fifth-year option. What are you going to do? Hold out and get fined $50,000 a day, and they can't rescind that money anymore. That money will go off your wallet, so you're going to lose that money automatically. So that stuff is no longer kind of given back under the table and all that. So you're not going to hold out because you're under your fifth-year option because that's not really a negotiated contract. And then they can tag you and tag you again if they feel like it. So you really have no leverage in a way, and you're risking everything because you also have to worry about your injury history. Okay. Even though if you play smart like you played last year, you'll play for 15 more years with no problem. If you get rid of the football, you'll be fine. But if you try to get cute and you try to hang on to the football and you suffer an injury, then you ruin your chances for a big contract that they're probably offering you right now. So in a way, the Dolphins still kind of have, I think, the driver's seat here because I don't know how he fights that. You know what I'm saying? Think about this. Okay. I was thinking about this last night. So they offer you 200 million like Trevor Lawrence, the contract that Trevor Lawrence offers you. Okay? What do you what the public says you're holding out and they're offering you the contract that, Trevor Lawrence got? It's going to be bad PR for him, right? Because there's a lot of people that don't even want him to get paid whatever Trevor Lawrence and all these other guys are getting paid right now. People want him to get paid 40 million, 45 million. People want him to play on the fifth-year option. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even think he's the guy. So imagine the negativity that's going to come his way if people find out you've been offered the same contract or $1 million more a year than Trevor Lawrence and you're turning it down. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff on his side that really can't go his way with the injury history and then the bad PR because there's not a lot of people are going to be defending, oh, no, you got to pay him $65 million. No, you don't.
Yeah, by the book, the Dolphins do have all those things in their back pocket. A couple of years of franchise tags if they want it, the fifth-year option that he's already on. Now, when it comes to a quarterback relationship, then do you want to go down that road? Do you want to create that sort of friction between your franchise quarterback, as you're indicating throughout the whole offseason with Chris Greer saying that the Dolphins want to get a deal done, and that they're going to keep working with Tua's representation to get that deal done, and then sort of backing off of that stance and then saying, okay, you know what? We tried, but we're not going to go down that road because we don't feel that he is worth everything that we have said, which is another point in this, is that the Dolphins have spent the last 2 years after you went through the whole Deshaun Watson flirtation thing, and then you got rid of Brian Flores because he didn't really believe in Tua that much, and then you brought in a coach that was going to instill that confidence. You've been building Tua up these 2 years so that he could perform on the field and build up that confidence in him. Now you get to negotiation time, and you're doing everything almost in reverse because you're trying to save yourself a buck. Now you're sort of saying, laying out all the reasons that maybe you didn't speak of previously, and when you go to the negotiating table, you got to, and it's just because you have to do it. You're laying out all the reasons why maybe the organization shouldn't be committing all that money. So now it's sort of when, like in a poker game, it's time to show your cards. The river, and then you had your betting rounds. And it's no more bluffing now. It's if you get called, you got to show your cards. So Now is when the real comes out, and then so now in the end, yeah, you have those things at your disposal. But if Tua's already getting a little bit antsy, he called it for now. If that antsiness turns into frustration and then anger or other words that go even further down the line, then do you really want that? Like, remember there was a lot of drama with Lamar Jackson. Was it now a year plus ago? They got that done, and then they went ahead and settled it. But he was about to be on the franchise tag, and then everyone was coming down on the exclusive, non-exclusive. Would other teams go after him? So do you want to let it get to that point with a quarterback when a lot of other franchises go ahead and they feel very secure with their quarterback? Justin Herbert was taking a pick after him, and then the Chargers went ahead and gave him the big contract before he got to they gave him the 5th year option, but before he even got into year 4. Joe Burrow, same draft class, same thing. And now Trevor Lawrence was a draft class behind Tua, and he got his with the Jaguars. So do you really want to make Tua feel that way after everything you've sort of built up the last couple of years? Is the other thing to consider, even though you have at your disposal.
By the way, we are in hurricane season. Welt and Rheaume, that's the number you want to have in your back pocket on your phone. Save it on the cell phone right now, 954-966-4646. And if you happen to be dealing with any damage from any of the storms here the last week, call them anywhere in the state, 954-966-4646. Ask for Jeff Welt. The consultation is completely free, and they have their own adjusters. So they'll send their adjusters, they'll get the work done, and they'll handle the insurance company for you. You won't even have to handle anything. You don't have to make a phone call. All you got to do is pick up a check at Welt and Rheaume. That's all you got to do. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Welt and Rheaume, 954-966-4646. Now, we talked about this on Tuesday. That, a lot of people, we're worried about what are you going to pay Waddle? Oh, look at what they're paying Devonta Smith, this, that. And then after you find out, after they do the Waddle deal and they do this deal and they do that deal, most of the deals that Chris Grier and Brian Shore do are pretty responsible, pretty shrewd. They're pretty tough, negotiators. How much of that may be going on with Tua? Because that's the other thing we have to look at too. These guys don't just give away money like what's it called? What was the guy that was here before that is always on ESPN?
Howard? No. Who? I was saying Xavier Howard, but who are you talking about?
No, the GM that was here before. What's his name? Tannenbaum.
Yeah.
Tannenbaum was like Oprah. You get more money, and you get more money, and here's the bonus for you, and here's the bonus. Chris Grier's not like that, dude.
Right.
So, is that what's also going on here? That maybe maybe it's foolish in me thinking, this thing's close, and maybe Chris Grier is being Mr. Shrewd and saying, no, we want to make a deal, but we want to make a deal that protects the Dolphins. What do you think?
Sure, that's something to consider. But now Chris Grier also, while he is very prudent with that money, he values the premium positions in the game. So these days, the wide receivers, the left tackles, the edge rushers. So he's willing to pay those, and then obviously quarterback, the most important position in the game. So assuming that he does indeed believe what he has said, which is that he trusts in Tua and wants him to be playing with the Dolphins at a high level for a long time, then you need to get the deal done in order to do that. Well, I know we just talked about that. They have 3 years of team control if they want it, but if you want to maintain that relationship while doing it and having them for that extended period of time, then you are willing to spend at the position of quarterback, assuming yes, you do believe that he is the guy, like you've said he is.
Yeah. All right. On the Tyreek side, what happens with Tyreek? I don't believe at all there'll be an extension. I can see him giving him a little guarantees to make him happy for this year. But what are you hearing? Anything on that?
Yeah, maybe that's the route that they go. I think as we've chronicled here that
remember they did that with X? Remember they did that with X one year, that they just gave him a little extra money that one year, and then they still parted ways, but it didn't get in the way. I can see something. I've been steadfast on this. I really have a hard time believing an extension is going to happen, but who knows? I've been wrong before.
Even the parting of ways was a couple years down the road from that. But yeah, my first training camp covering the Dolphins, then X put out the Instagram post that he was demanding a trade, and then there was a lot of drama. The hold in where he was just stretching, wouldn't practice until he got that trade, and then finally a couple weeks later, the two sides finally settled on it and got him some more guarantees. So maybe something like that. I think as we've detailed on the show, the Dolphins maybe like that flexibility of no guarantees beyond this upcoming season, so that if Tyreek Hill isn't going to change his ways like he has consistently said he is off the field, then they have that flexibility to move on, or if he shows signs of slowing down, because the Dolphins may want to get ahead of that instead of paying him extraordinary amounts of money while he starts that decline in production, which he's still playing at a very high level, 1799 in receiving yards last year. Obviously, that's with getting a huge share of the targets, which maybe gets spread out more this year, which we've talked about as well, that he could be in line for less production, but could be of more value to the team if he gets fewer targets, but just produces at a better rate without putting up the huge 1799 figure or going for 2K. If the ball gets spread out more, then that could be even more valuable to the offense as a whole.
I'm with you there. All right, what are you working on the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I think I'll work on a couple things, Dolphins, that I'm still holding on to from our last slew of interviews, talking to Daryl Bevell about how Tua's off-field work or away from the team with John Beck sort of aligns with what the Dolphins would like to see from him, and some Butch Berry stuff on the offensive line. So still got some stories to roll out, and I'll be checking in on the Panthers too. Game 6 watch party. I'll get some fan reaction, and then if there is a Game 7, then I'll go to that too.
All right, you got it. All right, my brother. Appreciate you as always. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself tonight. We'll be on tonight on the platform too, having some fun. Hopefully, talking about a Panthers championship. Follow him on Twitter at Furones _ and subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel for all of his coverage. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. There you go. Welt Rheaume 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show.